Was Greenberg.
I don't know who Eliza Greenberg is, but maybe Carol Greenberg is my teacher. Is that her last name? Oh, somebody's walking by. I think maybe Carol Greenberg is my teacher, and that's her.
Whoever's on can hear you, so be careful.
Carol, are you there? Oh, there she is. That's my teacher. Can you hear me?
Hey, Nancy.
Hey, Carol. Wow, you're not Eliza Greenberg.
No, that's my daughter.
I figured as much. Thank you. I started really early because I had so much technical, so
Yeah.
many technical issues last time.
I totally understand that. I'm not exactly the queen of the computer. I'm always yelling, Norm, help.
Yeah, exactly. Right.
See if I can go to let's see. This should be gallery. Oh well. Says gallery. He lied. Oh well. Let's see. Ah, there we go. So how was your trip?
Oh, it was fantastic.
Did you do it by yourself?
Well, I went with a group, but yeah, I've done this in the past. I started whitewater rafting when I was pretty young and
wow.
loved it and did a lot of it when I was younger, and then took my family a few times, my kids and husband over the years. And the last time we went as a family was when I retired 7 years ago.
Ah,
But
what did you
nobody,
retire from? What kind of job?
I was a school librarian for 40 years.
Oh, no wonder you love to look things up.
Yeah.
So there is
So,
a book that I will recommend to you.
okay.
You may have read it already. It's by Kristen Hanna,
Oh yeah, I know her books. Which one
The
is it?
Nightingale.
Oh yeah, I loved it. Yeah,
That's
yeah,
one
yeah.
of my favorites. I love that.
Yeah. I
I
think
am
she might even be a Seattle author.
I don't know. And I'm a big fan of Daniel Silva,
Mm-hmm. Right.
the main character, Gabriel Alone.
Right.
And I've read all of his books. And the
Right.
last one, I put myself on reserve at the library in June, knowing that it's coming out in July. And I
Mm-hmm.
think I was the first one to get it.
Oh, lucky you.
Our library just had a whole big, they had like a book club for adults. So this was the first year I joined. And as the incentive, the little prize that they gave at the beginning was a shovel, a little for planting,
Oh.
a little digger. So the
Uh-huh.
librarian in charge, and I work for her, teaching a class at the library for ESL. So she's, Carol, you're going to love this. So when I took a look at that little shovel, I go, oh, I'm going to use it all summer, and I'm using it. I love it.
That's great.
I'm a big
But
gardener.
what's the shovel in? How
Oh,
does it
because
relate to
they
summer
had
reading?
something about dig into reading, dig
Oh,
deeper.
got it. Got it. Got it. Okay.
I read about 10 books. One woman sitting at my table, because then they had a big kumsitz and everybody
Right.
in the library, and they played games and they had prizes. Well, I got a bag that says Middle Country Library. They had a wheel, like a roulette wheel, and so I won that. But this one woman sitting at the table doesn't watch television. She doesn't go to movies. She doesn't go out. She has a real cough, like a smoker's cough. She said she read 40 books.
Oh my gosh.
It's a big deal with 10. And
Wow.
then the one who won for reading the most books, she read 47 books, but I don't know if there were children's books included in
Oh,
that.
right.
I'm
Yeah.
a little suspicious. 47 in 2 months. Come on.
Right. Well, they don't do much else, or they don't sleep.
Right. Both. I think both.
Yeah.
I think, if you're sick, you stay up all night and
Right.
you read, and to divert
Right.
your pain. And if you don't go out, and you don't work, you don't do anything
Right.
else, yeah, you could do
Yeah.
3 books a week.
Right.
But
Right.
that one, and The Collector is the last Silva book, was excellent. And it has a lot about Russian politics in it,
Mm-hmm.
about stealing a painting.
Wow.
Very, very good. And then there's another author that I got to like a lot. You must have heard of Donna Leon.
Mm-mm.
She used to live in Venice. she divided her time between Venice and Switzerland. And she writes with detail about all the places, going over the bridges and all the streets and the canal in Venice. Well, this summer we went on a cruise and
Right.
spent a day in Venice.
Mm-hmm.
It was on the Vaporetto and the Grand Canal, which I loved.
Mm-hmm.
But I had a feeling for it already because she has such vivid descriptions. And then she talks about the smaller islands, Burano and Murano.
Right.
All these.
Right.
So it is Inspectore Brunetti. He's he's a police inspector,
Mm-hmm.
and he's gentle, and it talks about him going home for lunch and what he eats for lunch. In fact, she did a Inspector Brunetti cookbook.
Oh, wow.
Some of the recipes from it. And the daughter is a vegetarian, but he solves the crimes. There's no shooting, there's no, that kind of thing. He
Right.
does he figures it out, and then they get arrested. But if it's a case where the person who committed the crime did it for good cause,
Mhm.
he's very gentle.
Mm.
He kind of lets them off.
Okay.
So he's a humanist.
Good. Did you
and
go to the Jewish quarter when you were in Venice?
we did. I read about it, and I did, but there was nobody there. But there were the narrow streets. Have you ever been there?
Oh, yeah. Mhm.
There were these very narrow streets, and there was
Mhm.
still people living there, so we
Right.
went there, but there was nobody there. But I did see a rabbi and his wife walking down the street. So we went, someone said, oh, go further down, keep walking. So we did. And what I had seen online was that in that neighborhood, it was just like Miracle Mile in Manhasset, Long Island. They had all these outlets from these very expensive stores.
Hmm.
That was
Wow.
further. That was near the Vaporetto station and the train
Mhm.
station. That was
Mhm.
further down.
Oh, okay.
I didn't get to see, I wanted to see the synagogues,
Right.
get a chance to see them. Well, it was on a Sunday.
Right.
I think they were closed because we arrived on a Friday night, and then, Saturday things, or maybe we arrived on Saturday, things were closed.
Mm-hmm.
I'd like to go back. It was beautiful,
Mm-hmm.
but expensive. Food was very expensive. We found a little hole in the wall place that was halal. I think it was halal.
Oh.
It's
Right.
pretty
Right.
And they had these little things, these little pastries called pockets. And they were the most delicious things in the world. It was great. With
Oh.
eggplant and cheese. But I figured it's halal. Okay, I could eat
Right.
this.
Sure.
Probably.
Sure.
Even kashrut is a higher standard because they'll have milk and meat.
Right.
And I think they eat seafood.
Hmm.
But they don't eat pork.
Right.
I think
Right.
they eat seafood, which I
Hmm.
don't.
Right. Hmm.
So it was just fascinating. I loved it. And we went
Mhm.
to St. Mark's
Right.
Square.
Square. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but I love being in the Vaporetto and talking to people on the boat and
Mm-hmm. Right.
now we didn't go on did you go on one of the gondolas? We didn't go on a gondola.
One time we did go on a gondola. We've been there more than once. So,
Yeah,
yeah.
I absolutely loved it. It was just
Mhm.
because I love being on a boat.
Mm-hmm.
Like you go rafting, I go kayaking.
Oh, good. Yeah.
One of the trips, one of the excursions for the cruise was
Mm-hmm.
going in a sea kayak.
Oh.
I had only been in Alaska many, many years ago. So this younger guy and I were manning this, it's long, a
Mhm.
sea kayak, and they took us through caves. You go
Oh.
through a cave and you come out another exit, and then we finally beached the kayaks on a beach, and we went
Mhm.
swimming, and then we went back, and it was a lot of fun.
They bring blow up kayaks on the river trips.
Oh yeah,
So you can choose what kind of raft you want to be on. Like the one I always choose is because I like to paddle, so I always go on the paddle boat. Then there's one that they call the Cadillac, where you just sit there and don't do anything, and
Oh.
the guide does it all. And then there's another one, and then there's these blow up kayaks that they bring. So a lot of people kayak through some of the rapids. And
Oh, in Alaska, we went on a raft,
Right,
a
right.
regular rubber raft.
right.
Only that year it was very hot, so the water was very low.
Wow. Mhm.
But still, it was exciting. It was still
Yeah,
great. We were
isn't it fun?
paddling, you know, we
Yeah,
were,
yeah.
yeah, it was really fun.
When I did that on the Alaska cruise, I had my mother and my sister-in-law at the time and my son. And the pictures of us, because it was also summer, I think it was middle of June, we're all bundled up in like 15 layers with hoods and we're freezing.
They had somebody on shore
Right.
pictures, so we of
Yeah,
course
right.
had to buy
Right.
that picture of us
Of course, of course.
rafting. I mean, you know,
Oh, it's so fun. I
that
love
was
it.
great.
It's really,
Let's see if
and
anybody else is on. You see anybody else? Let us see. View. So I saw I saw the picture that you sent of Denise.
right. And I felt like as a group, we should have done something for Denise.
That was nice. That was very nice.
I don't know her, at least send her a card or something. I feel, and I never figured out how to watch it. Did you ever watch it on
I did.
the
Yeah, I did
Women's
watch
League?
it. Hers was like half a line. It was very short.
Okay.
She's
All
not
right.
coming on today. Let
Oh,
me
Denise
see.
isn't?
No, she's not. How do I get to? Nope, that makes it smaller. We'll make it bigger again. All right, well, it's you and I so far. Anyway, I sent all this stuff.
Right. Which
Did you-
I found the pages in my mock source, so I didn't have to make copies,
Yeah,
but I
do you
did.
have this one or the Silverman?
Yeah, I have that one. That's exactly
Yeah,
what I have.
this is the new one. Yeah.
Yeah. And
Lev
then I have
Shalem.
this Yom Kippur story.
Yeah.
Like,
You know what Lev Shalem means? So Lev, what's Lev?
it's a
Lev
name.
is heart.
Oh,
Like when they
heart.
talk about Lev Yerushalayim, that means the center
Oh.
of Jerusalem. Shalem is not shalom. It's the same root, but shalem means complete or full.
Oh.
It means a full heart. So that's machzor lev shalem. If it would be shalom, it would have vav after the lamed.
Right.
So it's
Huh.
shalem. Yeah. All right. Well, it's a little after 20 after, and we'll see if anybody else
Yeah.
is on. So
I'm
I
gonna
think
go. I
some
get
does have-
totally overwhelmed when I see this whole page. I mean, from page 76 that you sent, and it's all in Hebrew. I'm like,
oh, well.
oh,
But if you look at it like,
I
where
know.
it's on, and what's really nice about that book, like I said, my seventh graders used to like that because they got a feeling that they could actually read a story. They give you between the footnotes and the vocabulary, they
Right.
practically translate it for you.
Well, yeah, I was trying to figure that out, but it didn't feel that way to me.
All right. So then I had researched a couple of years ago all the crazy customs on on the holidays, not holidays. And before my daughter was married, she went to Brooklyn and she did Schlugen Kapuras. So
Oh.
so Schlugen is like throwing or hitting. Hi, Diane.
Hi, Diane.
What they used to do in Brooklyn is they would take a chicken,
Right.
live chicken, swing it around their head 3 times, and that would be the expiation of their sins.
Oh,
Now, poor chicken probably die of fright.
right.
They stopped doing, I think they may still do that in Brooklyn, the Hasidim, but what they do now is they give a donation
Right.
to charity, because, so I think Denise,
Denise.
oh, I thought you were not going to be here today.
No,
No,
I think
it
that's
was
Diane.
the other Diane is not.
Oh,
the
yeah,
other
Diane is bringing her son to college. Oh, that's that's something else. So how are you feeling about this new year coming up, bat mitzvah?
Who me? Oh, I'm learning I made the mistake of telling my rabbi that you said I
Oh.
should read a prayer, so now he's looking for one for me. So now I'm stuck.
To lead a prayer?
Yes.
So I have a short Torah reading tomorrow. I had one last week that went well, and I have one tomorrow, and I'm prepared. I've been working on it like every free minute I have,
Right.
I run to the tikkun and I again and again and again.
Yep.
One of the words is hutamama.
Oh.
Hutama'a. Hutama'a.
Hutama'a.
That's a big word.
What does
Hutama'a.
that mean?
It means and made her and made her defiled. And she would, so it says if a man marries a woman and then he doesn't like her anymore, he can issue her a bill of divorce, sefer kritut, and send her out of his home. So then it says she can leave and go and marry somebody else. And if the second husband, Ba'al ha'acharon, the last one, doesn't like her, he could do the same thing. He can give her a divorce notice and send her out. Then it goes on and
Okay.
says, the last line of my Torah reading says, however, if the first husband, if the second husband dies, and the first husband wants to take her back, he's not allowed to because she's been defiled.
Hmm.
She's been with that
But
second guy, so he can't take her back even if he wanted to. But I would
and
think
of course, she has nothing to say about this, right?
nothing, not a thing. This is all ish. If there's a man and he marries a woman and it doesn't say what the grounds for divorce are. It just says if he finds something he doesn't like in her.
Can you imagine being rejected by two husbands? That must be horrible on the ego.
Yeah.
I would say then you go to the church. Then you go to become a kadesha. You become a like a temple prostitute. And you said, okay, give up marriage. I'm just I'm here. Because they used to have them, they called them a kadesha. And notice the root kodesh in that.
Wow,
Yeah.
really?
Yeah. So they have, I think they'd have these like big bacchanals where people get together and men would have a good time. I don't know about the women. Okay. So the first
I-
thing,
Diane, what is behind you? I love your background.
my curtains
that-
that I made those curtains for my kitchen.
Oh,
Kidding, they're nice.
Yeah, I like flowers and I had seen that material and I said, I got to think of something. This is quite a few years ago. It was before, of course, like a couple of days before Passover. And I'm thinking and I'm sewing and, you know, like in my house, it was always crazy. Before Passover, it's like Mishigasas. Anything goes.
I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
What I had my Makom Biachad today and they were talking about, I can't remember the beginning of the expression, but it ends with nefesh, something that we're supposed to be doing during Elul. Something nefesh.
Well, there's pikuach nefesh,
No,
but
how about-
it must be like naki nefesh or something, nikia, cleaning of the soul, or you know.
yeah, yes.
Well, naki would be clean your soul. Pikuach nefesh is like you're allowed to violate the Shabbat if you're very religious for saving. Pikuach nefesh is saving a soul. So
No,
now
this-
the man's wife is going to have a baby. Okay, he can take her in a vehicle, religious one, to the hospital, but he cannot take a taxi or any kind. He can't take a vehicle home. He'd either have to stay over or walk or whatever, figure it out, but he can't ride back. He could take her because that's to save a life. I mean, otherwise maybe there would be danger to the mother and the baby. He is allowed to put her in a cab and go with her to the hospital, but only one
no,
way.
this had more about like soul searching and trying to see how we can change our behavior, what we can do to improve our behavior, being very honest with each other, with yourself. I can't remember the.
Refuah nefesh?
I
Refuah?
thought it began with an N. Is there one that begins with an N? Nahama?
No, nechama would be like comforting the soul.
Mm.
Nechamat, no.
Oh, well, I'll go back. It's recorded. I'll go back and look at the recording.
All right, so let's get started. So I wanted to point out to you, so there are different names. Someone asked you this question first. There's different names for Rosh Hashanah. What does Rosh Hashanah actually mean? What's your
Head of
Rosh?
the year.
Okay, Rosh is your head, the head of the year, meaning the beginning of the year, right? So for us, but it doesn't come in the first month of the year, which would have been Aviv with Passover. It's the 7th month. Anyway, what's another name for Rosh Hashanah? Because you're going to see it in the change, a little bit of the change in the candle lighting, which I wanted to point out, and in the Kiddush. So the day of remembrance, Yom HaZikaron, and you know that Zachor means remember, Zachor et Yom HaShabbat, remember the Sabbath day. So Zikaron is remembrance, Yom HaZikaron. And what's something we do?
So
Blow
far,
the shofar.
Okay, so it's also called Yom Teruah. Teruah is the blowing of the shofar. How many times do they blow the shofar when it's not on Shabbat? Now, this year, Rosh Hashanah, the night before, Erev Rosh Hashanah is on a Friday, I believe, and Saturday, that would be the first day, would be on Shabbat. Second day would be Sunday. So maybe on the second day, we'll hear the shofar blown, right? Because you can't play a musical instrument on Shabbat 100 times. If you look at all the times that they say Tikiya, Shebarim, and Tikiya Gadola, all those, if you add up all the many times that they do that, that the Baal on Tikiya, the one who blows the shofar, is 100 times. It's 100 toots. Okay, just something in passing. Okay,
Wait,
so
100 separate times or 100 times?
well, like if I go, if I do that 9 times, that's counted as 9.
Got it.
Oh,
Okay.
okay.
And if I go just one,
Right.
it's one.
Okay. Okay.
And the
Does
other
that
one,
also count the daily minions in the morning where they blow the shofar?
so in the month, good question, in the month of Elul, like my son-in-law, who's Chabad, is probably getting up in the morning, and when he's not going to work and just staying home and he's on the computer, he will blow the shofar. Yeah, he's supposed to blow it. I don't know if it's 100 times, but you have to blow it in the month of Elul.
Right.
Yeah.
I attended morning minion on Monday because of my sister's yahrzeit, and they did blow the shofar. And I've heard that
How many times? Many times?
No, one session, but I can't remember how many times he blew it. We have quite a few
it's
shofar
kind of-
blowers in our congregation.
One long one, and maybe the 3 shivarim, dot, dot, dot. and
Yeah,
the-
I
and
don't,
maybe
it
the
wasn't a long one,
line.
that's for sure.
Yeah. Okay, so the candle lighting, if you have that paper in front of you, either in your machzor or what I sent you. So there's a little bit of a change because it says Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu Melech Haolam Asher Kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu v'hadlik ner shel. So if it's on Sabbath, Shel Shabbat, which this year starts Rosh Hashanah Friday night, so you'll say Shel Shabbat. Shel Shabbat the shel and of Yom Tov. That's Yom Tov is we say Yiddish Yontif, like you say good Yontif, and Yom Tov and a holiday. Okay, so they say instructed us to light Shabbat and festival. Yom Tov is a holiday festival and Yom Tov. Shel Shabbat, Shel Yom Tov. And then we do Shehechianu, which we don't do on a regular Shabbat. Then it's Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu Melech HaOlam Shehechianu V'kiyamanu V'higianu Lazman Hazeh. So what you might recognize is Shehechianu, and you see in the middle of that word the Het and the Yud, which sounds Chai, and the translation would be for granting us life. So there's Chai right in the middle. And you see that? Shehecheyanu. All right, and v'kiyamanu, v'kayam is for sustaining us, and v'higianu, lahagia. I had a Hebrew teacher once, and she said at the end of the class, as higia hazman, the time has arrived for the class to end. Higia. So lahagia means to arrive, and to arrive in this means for bringing us. Higian, to bring us. Lazman, zman is time. Lazman hazeh, and bringing us to this time, to this moment, to this occasion, to this holiday, whatever. Okay, so I wanted to point that out. That was on page 30 of the Machzor, and then on page 32, on page 32, there's for Shabbat, well, this year, so Friday night, we have the Yontif candles, so we have that special edition, Shabbat B'Shel Yom Tov, and then we'll have honey and apples for Sweet New Year. Okay, and then you say the prayer for the new year is Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu Melech Haolam Borei Pri Ha'etz. So that's for the apples. Eitz is Pri is fruit. Pri Ha'etz is fruit of the tree. Okay, so that's what it says. And Borei means creates the fruit of the tree, so that would be on the apple. Then you dip it in honey and you say Yehi Ratzon Milpanecha Adonai Eloheinu Velohei Avotenu. And if you want to add Ve'imotenu and our matriarchs, Shetechadesh. Now, Chadash, what does Chadash mean? Chadash is new.
No.
So, She, who will Techadesh, renew. So maybe you will, Yehi Ratzon Milpanecha, maybe you will, Adonai our God, Ve'elohei Avotenu, and God of our fathers, that you renew, Shetechadesh, Aleinu, upon us, renew for us, Shana Tova, and here it is, a new year, Umituka. Mituka, I had a Hebrew teacher once. Her name was Mituka, which means sweetness. That's a nice name, Mituka. Okay.
Is that Hebrew or Yiddish?
Oh, no, that's Hebrew. Yeah. Shana Tova Mituka. And that is a sweet, new, and a sweet year. That's exactly what it says. Okay, so those are the blessings. And I think on Yom Kippur, let me see, I didn't look at but it probably, Yom Kippur is Yom HaKippurim. Like kaparot is what they call doing that with the chicken. Is Kippur is atone. Yom Kippur is a day of atonement. So kaparot is atonement. That chicken is, you're transferring your sins onto the chicken. We also do that on the first day of Rosh Hashanah, go to a flowing body of water and take the bread and throw it in. Now near me, there's a duck pond in Stony Brook. But now that they say it shouldn't, and my synagogue usually goes to Long Island Sound, we used to throw in pieces of bread, but it's not good for the fish because the bread expands and they could, I guess, die, not be able to breathe, whatever, choke. So now they throw rocks in. So now you hit the fish with the rocks.
You just stun them. You don't kill them, you just stun them.
Stone the fish. So now you take a little rock, not a real big one, and put the sin of this and put the sin of that. And again, the idea of the breadcrumbs and then the fish would eat the bread is that your sin would be absolved. It's a pretty sketchy thing, but I don't know how that's supposed to work. It's like a metaphor is what I see. It's not really happening there. And when you do this Okay, Ashamnu, Bagadnu, Gazalnu, Dibarnu, there you really, like, yeah, self-flagellation. Okay. All right, so that's those two things. Now, the main thing
It's on page 199 in the
Mm.
candle lighting for Yom Kippur. I just found it.
Okay, let's take a look at that then. 199. Okay.
I wish this book had a better index.
Okay, so kaparot. All right, so now people, it says take the money, you can put the money and swing it over your head, money for tzedakah. All right, so that's more of a common thing now amongst religious people. You know, you could still do this and remember your great grandma, your great grandpa, whatever, but you're going to give that money for charity. So that's a kaparot. Ze khalifa, khalifati, ze tamurati, that's all. Okay, this be my substitute, my atonement. This money will go to tzedakah. Okay, good. Then you know that you like the yahrzeit candle on Erev Yom Kippur. You know, you're going to do that. And let's see, the candle lighter. Okay, Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lahadlik ner shel Shabbat, if it's on Shabbat. V'shel Yom HaKippurim, the Day of Atonement, and that's what it says. Okay, to light the Sabbath and Yom Kippur candles. And then again, Shehechianu. All right. I think I told you my son finally figured out not to come from Virginia, not to make the trip home on Yom Kippur, which he always did for many years. He said, from now on, I'm coming on Rosh Hashanah because there's good food. So I make stuffed cabbage on Rosh Hashanah, and chicken soup and all the good stuff. He says, I'm coming on. This year he's coming on Rosh Hashanah. Okay, so that's basically. I find that regular Friday night, even though my kids are no longer living here, it's a very nice thing to bless the children, even in absentia, because my kids know. They'll ask me, did you bless me on Shabbat? They know that I'm saying the blessing for them. And I think it's like a warm and fuzzy. It's a nice thing to know that somebody is blessing you, that your parents think enough of you to say a blessing on Friday night when they light the candles. It's very nice. And if you do that and tell your children you're doing that, I think they're gonna really like that. Okay. So now we have Anu. And again, well, this one has some very nice words. So if you have the Machzor or the handout, it's on page 234. This is done Erev Yom Kippur. And give me some like very solemn holiday and very peppy melodies. And so it starts Eloheinu v'Elohei Avotenu, Salach lanu, Machal lanu, Kaper lanu. Salach mean like Slichot is the Shabbat before Rosh Hashanah. Slichot is when you start with Avinu Malkeinu, and Slichot means forgiveness. Salach is a command, forgive. Salach lanu, forgive us. Okay. Have you ever been to that service? And they take the Torah out, and sometimes they take out all the Torahs. And what they do in our synagogue is they change the covers to white. We have white covers. We have, I don't know, at least half a dozen Torahs. And they change the covers that night on Slichot to white for the holiday. And the cantor and the rabbi will wear white robes. And when I had gone, when pennies was still available here, I was passing through one day and I stopped and I see this white dress with like fake jewels over here, yoke of fake jewels, plastic but colorful. And that was when I was president of the sisterhood, and I said, that's it. that's my Yom Kippur dress. And you're supposed to wear like non-leather. Anyone know why you're not supposed to wear leather? Men not supposed to wear a leather belt. So I had gone once to one of the local shoe stores, and I see they have these sneakers with a little zipper. And so that's my Yom Kippur outfit for years. I've got the sneakers. They were cute, the sneakers, white sneakers. And this white dress with these like, looks like jewels. And it's nice. Supposed to wear white because the idea of purity. And you're begging forgiveness. You want to be without taint, without stain. You want to be clean. Everything's, you're fasting and you're doing all these things, mea culpa, all those things in Hebrew. So the idea is also that leather shoes, are made by killing an animal. And a leather belt. Some men don't wear their belt. And you're not supposed to be wearing. Of course, a lot of women want to show up and they want to wear their fancy clothes. And so they wear their high stiletto heels and leather, and they don't know about that. But the ones that are not wearing makeup and the ones that are not, all verpitzt with a lot of jewelry, a lot of makeup, and wearing white and something look simple, and the sneakers, they're the ones who know what the customs are, and the others are there for show. The others are there because that's their once a year, and they have to show up and they have to look fancy. So you can separate like the wheat from the chaff. Those who know, not I'm saying anything against them, except that they don't know Jewish custom. They don't know, what you're supposed to be doing. That's all.
Can you wear off-white? I don't have any white, but I have off-white. Can I wear that?
Yeah, sure. Yeah. So I have this dress and and that's my outfit. And I wear it every year, and the sneakers, I wash the sneakers, and and you're really not supposed to be, makeup and all, because you're repenting. You're not supposed to be going to a party. It's not supposed to be. It's different with Jewish people because they say, have a good Shana Tova Umetuka. Have a good and a sweet year, a good year. They don't say Happy New Year.
Mhm.
Okay. January 1st, people say, or December 31st, Happy New Year. We say, have a good, sweet New Year. It's different. It's very, we want to, good mean like a year full of mitzvot, righteous living and that kind of thing. That's the good year, and a sweet year, because we're praying for this sweet year in the honey and the apples and all of our symbols. So that's nice. So here's Anu, and it goes like this. Anu Amecha Viata Eloheinu, and my cantor goes ay ay ay. Anu Vanecha Viata Avinu ay ay ay, and then sometimes he goes Anu 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 Anu. And does that sound familiar?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Okay, so this must be, they all went to the same cantorial school. They want the same teacher. Okay, so what does Anu mean? It's short for Anachnu.
We.
Probably fits
We.
better, we, in the music. So Anu Amecha. Well, what is the word Like Yisrael Chai. What's the word
People.
People. And Cha on the end, we've seen a lot of words in Aleinu with Cha, Betecha, Ashrei Yoshvei Bet. Your, good, Denise. So we are your people, Amecha, and we know that's a suffix. It's just added right onto the word Anu Amecha. The Ata, what does Ata mean? And Ata,
And you.
you, that's for male. I didn't write the prayer book. I'm sorry. If it was female, it would say at. I'm sure there are prayers in a feminist prayer book someplace for the high holidays, as there are in other prayer books. And when it would say at, the ata Eloheinu. So what's the relationship here? Anu Amecha, Anu Amecha, Viata Eloheinu. So what does Elohim mean?
God.
God. So we are your people and you are our God. So this whole prayer is relationships. Okay, and that's what you can, yes, it says in English, we are your people, you are our God. Then it goes, Anu vanecha. What does ben mean? Ben,
Son of,
son. So just son. Anu vanecha. Whose son? Anu vanecha. We are your son. Now, they say we are your children. Banecha. With the yud, it shows it's plural. So it would be banim. And just like in Spanish, when you have chico is a boy and chica is a girl, and chicos are boys and girls. So Hebrew is the same thing. The word banim means sons or sons and daughters, children, banim, right? Daughters would be banot. Okay, so you have bat is daughter and benot is the plural, daughters. Yeshli shte banot, I have 2 daughters. Lebanim. What is that? Okay, so Anu vanecha, we are your children, va'ata avinu, and you are our av. What is av? Like avinu malkeinu. What is av? Ima va'aba,
Parents.
parent. Av, father. So it says, we are your children and you are our parent. Literally, va'ata avinu, you are our father. Okay. Anu avadecha, Evid. Avadim hayinu, Pharaoh b'Mitzrayim. See all these words repeating, they keep recycling. Okay, so avadim, an Evid is a slave or a servant. Avadim, we were servants to Pharaoh in Mitzrayim, right? So anu avadecha, we are your servants. Ve'ata adonenu, Adon Olam Asher Malach, okay? Lord of the world, Adon Olam. Adonai, our God. The translation says, we are your servants and you are our master. I sometimes see it, our Lord, our God. Adon Olam would be master of the world, if you see the translation in the prayer book usually. And then it goes, Anu Kechal, well, the same, Anu Kechalecha. Kachal is the congregation. Kachal. So we are your congregation. Anu Kechalecha Viata Chelkeinu. Now, Chelek means a portion, a part of something. Chelek, or half even. And we are your congregation. Va'ata Chelkeinu. You are our portion. Another translation is you are our heritage. You're our heritage. Okay, and then it goes anu nachal latecha, anu nachalatecha viata goralenu. Okay, so we are your heritage and you are our destiny. Okay, goral is used, that word is used in Purim when they're in the lottery, the goral in Chag Purim. Goral is the lottery, so our lot, our portion, our destiny. Ata goralenu, you are our destiny, you are like our future. So you are our heritage, we are your destiny. And then the other one you should know, anu tsonecha. Son, bah.
sheep,
Son, sheep. Okay, so necha, we are your flock. Ve'ata ro'enu. A ro'eh is a shepherd. Ro'ah is a female shepherdess. So we're your flock and you're our shepherd. So what's the relationship there between a flock and a shepherd or a shepherdess? Why does a flock need a shepherd?
Guide them.
For guidance and protection against the wolves, right? guidance and protection. So there's a relationship here with all of these. They're not just random. Anu tzonecha v'ata roenu ay anu charmecha v'ata notrenu. So we are your vineyard. In the Torah portion that I have for tomorrow, a kerem is a vineyard. And it says in Kitei Say in the Torah portion for tomorrow that if you can go into someone's vineyard and you can eat all the grapes you want. The only thing you can't do is put it in a pot. So you can't like harvest the grapes like for selling them. You can go in and eat if you're hungry, but you can't bring in, heavy machinery, and you can't take somebody's grapes that they've grown and use it as produce to sell. And then the next line says you can go in somebody's like a cornfield. They're growing produce, and you can eat. You can take a couple of sheaves of corn, but you can't bring in a threshing machine. You can't do this for produce. You can take a couple of ears of corn, and that's okay. If you're hungry, you can grab a couple of ears of corn from somebody's cornfield, but that's okay. But you can't go in and you can't take a scythe and knock them down and then get a big container and take them, like cart them away to sell. Okay, that you can't do. You can just eat your fill. If you're hungry, you can take somebody's stuff and they won't shoot you. That's okay. All right. So then it says, so Kerem, so Anu Charmecha Viata Notrenu, and you're our guardian. So we are your Kerem, you are our vineyard, and you're our guardian. And then it says, Anu Faula Techa Viata Yotzrenu. Yotzer is an important verb. Yotzer means creates. We are your created ones. We are your creatures. So it says, we are your creatures. That's another word for Anu Fa'ulatecha V'ata Yotzreinu. You are our creator. So the word Yatsar is in Bereshit, right in the beginning. God created the universe. Anu Raitecha. We are your spouse, Va'ata Dodenu. So in Lecha Dodi, so Dodi Lee is a song that I was married to. It means my beloved, Dodi Lee. All right. So in Lecha Dodi on Friday night, right? You're shaking your head, Denise. So what does it mean?
It's the bride of Shabbat.
It's the bride, right? Lecha Dodi. Lecha Dodi lekrat Shabbat panei Shabbat nikabela. So when they sing that whole song, the relationship is that the Jewish people, Am Yisrael, is the bridegroom of God. And when we welcome in the Shabbat, what they used to do, the religious people, let's say in Poland and Germany, in the years gone by, they would go to the edge of the town and they would wait to see the 3 stars. That nighttime is falling. They would take a bath first. They would go in the bath, and then when it's officially Shabbat, they would go to the synagogue and they would sing this Lecha Dodi. That's favorite song. Let's see. Segula. A segula is a treasure. A segula. So it says, we are your cherished ones. Anu segula techaviata krovenu, and you are near to us. Karov is near. We are your treasure, and you are the one who is near to us. Let's say we are your cherished ones, and you are near to us. And then it goes again at the end. Anu amecha viata malkeinu. What is a melech? We are your we are your nation, we are your people, and you are our king, our religious king. And anu mami recha viata mami reinu. So vayomer, it means speak. we are anu ma'amirecha. We are the ones that you speak to. Va'ata ma'amireinu, and we, Omer, we speak to you. Okay, so that's let's see how your Hebrew is. All right, let's try. You don't have to sing it if you know it, you can, but I want each one of you to take one of the lines, like Anu Amecha Bi'ata Eloheinu. Okay, Charlene, can you do that first line? This
I
one.
don't have a prayer book and you didn't send it to us.
I did.
Yeah.
I did. On
Mhm.
Wednesday. Because of
I-
you, I sent it on Wednesday.
I know, but I didn't get it. I'm gonna
Ah.
look again.
I sent, there were like 5 pages or more. I did send, okay.
On Wednesday. I believe you. I just didn't see
I
it
did,
then.
I did. Diane, Stacy, did you get it?
Yes, I did.
Okay, and Denise?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
and Nancy,
And I
okay,
did.
you might have just missed seeing it, okay. Yes, I always send it on
You
Wednesday.
actually sent 2, one.
Yeah,
was
one,
missing, and the
because we were
second
having
one
trouble,
has all the attachments.
Right.
right. The reason I did that is
I
because
didn't get it.
my computer, I put your name in it, my computer has this new thing. It used to be, you would click where it said add attachments. And when you clicked on that, it would automatically go to all of your, all of your messages, all of your information, you know. And now they have a new thing you have to drag. So that's a norm. You know, I asked my husband, help me with this. So you have to put your who it's to the side, and then you have to click on the document, and you have to drag it and put it where that arrow is. So the
Mhm.
first time I couldn't do it. Then I go, Norm, and he helped me. Like, I can't do this. So it was a drag. I like the click better. You clicked on it, it goes right to your documents,
Mhm.
and you click on it, and it magically it shows up on your thing. But this is horrible. I hate this, that you have to drag it into the
Yeah.
draft bar. Oh, it's awful. That's why the first time I couldn't do it. So I said, I have to do this again. And I was not happy. And that's an understatement. Okay. So, okay, Nancy, what does the first one say? Anu.
Anu Amecha Beata Eloheinu.
Right. So you
Eloheinu.
should recognize the word and Eloheinu. We've seen this a lot. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam. It's in all the blessings. Okay, Diane, Stacy, how about the second one?
Anu vanecha viata avinu.
Good. And Avinu, we're going to be singing on Slichot Avinu Malkeinu, Korneinu Vaneinu, Avinu Malkeinu. That's the beginning of the nusach, of the melodies. You know that it's Slichot, you know that it's right before Rosh Hashanah. When you start hearing that, da, 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 because you don't do that during the year. Right? And that gives me chills. When I hear that, I know that it's time. This is the new year. In fact, I'm just to start saying a little bit. I got chills
Mhm.
because I know what's coming. And the rabbi said that I can do Jonah again this year.
Mm.
So that's the longest Haftorah of the year, Jonah. It's pages. So I'm going to do Jonah. And I have a new drush. I'm going to have a new thing about, this is a psychological approach to Jonah. That the whole thing with the whale or the dag gadol with the big fish, it's like a nightmare, a bad dream. It's not really happening. It's because when you approach doing something that you don't want to, because it's not going to be easy, it's going to be something difficult. You sometimes think about it at night, and you have a nightmare about it, and you carry it, like a burden. So here was this poor guy, Jonah, who was supposed to go and tell these non-Jewish people that they're sinning. So he doesn't know how that's going to be received. In this whole episode with the whale or the big fish, I think might be just his psychological, his burden, how he feels about this assignment that he's been given. If you have to call somebody, let's say you have a kid and the kid did something wrong to a neighbor's kid, and you have to call and you have to talk to that person, or anyone that that you don't want to talk to. It's like a burden. It weighs on you. So that's the approach I'm going to take this year. I've done all kinds of approaches. I've done this maybe half a dozen times. So I said, that's the thing I'm going to be talking about. Okay, Denise,
Which one are we on? 3 or
the
4?
third one.
Three.
Anu Avadecha Beata Adonenu.
It's good.
Does your Canticle, does that, or something like that, la, la, right? They do
Yeah.
that.
Between you.
Okay, all right, so the next one, back to you, Nancy, Anu,
Anu kechalecha beata chalkenu.
Chelkenu, Anu,
Chalkenu, right.
Halecha, Viata, Chelkenu, ay, okay, and then the next one, Diane, Stacy, one,
Anu na halateha
good,
viata goralenu.
right, and if you went back to the Purim, sorry, to the, all about, Purim, you will see that the word goral is the lottery, right? And that word is used in Purim. Okay, so the next one is about, all right, Denise, Brand,
Anan Zonecha Beatu Roenu.
well, let's be careful. Anu sonecha viata roenu. Ay, okay.
I added a syllable.
Nancy,
Anu karmecha.
right,
beata-
it's a chak rather than a kaf,
Wait,
okay?
anu what?
Charmecha.
Karmecha.
Mm.
Karmecha beata no terenu.
No trainu. Good. I'll do an anu feula techaviata yodzreinu. Ay. Okay. Nancy,
I just did it.
do another one.
Ay. Anu ra'atecha.
Right, and when he says it fast, anu rayatecha, the ata,
Dodenu.
right.
Dodenu.
So in modern
I'm
Hebrew,
trying to say it and not sing it because I don't know why. Making it harder. Don't ask me why.
okay. So the word in modern Hebrew, dod. Anyone know what that means? Dod. So we know that dodi means my beloved, right? Dodi, li, da, da. Okay, but dod means uncle, and doda means aunt.
Hmm.
It also means beloved in the liturgy. In Jewish liturgy, it means beloved. Some people may feel a little funny saying that their uncle is their beloved. It's a little hokey. However, that's the way it's used. Dodi is beloved. Okay. Denise Brand.
Anu Segulatecha
Good.
Beata Caronenu.
Kro.
Ainu.
Right. Yata Krovenu. Ay. Okay, here's an easy one. Diane Stacy.
Anu amecha
Perfect.
viata malkenu.
Very nice. And then Anu Mami Rechaviata Mami Renu Ay Anu Mami Rechaviata Mami Renu. So that's kind of a peppy, upbeat melody, don't you think? Like Hayom, 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 Hayom. I mean, there's the high holidays. The liturgy is pretty deep and very heavy, right? Like Ashamnu, and they're singing Ashamnu, Bagadnu, Gazalnu, Deparnu Dofi, I mean, somebody walking in who doesn't know anything would say, Oh, I like that tune. Yeah, 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 yeah. What are they singing about? They're singing about we have stolen, we have transgressed, we have lied, we have robbed, we have his all these terrible things, and people are going like this, la lie, la lie, lie. I don't understand it. And this one, okay, but this one is nice. And then comes right after this song is the vidui. The vidui are the confessional. We are insolent. We are obstinate. We are sinful. Okay, you are gracious. You are patient. You are merciful. It is a whole going now the great confession of the whole thing. And we do the whole thing that we get to al hey shachatanu lefanecha bionesuva ratzon, and then there's a whole al chet, and again nachamu al chet, and we do the whole thing. So anybody coming in would not understand what is going on. What is the matter with these people? Why are they? You know, it's like some sort of a medieval society. You know, with the flagellation, you know, they used to have like a cat of nine tails. They used to have a thing with leather, long leather pieces with like a tack of something at the end and hit themselves. There was a movie with that. What was that movie with Tom Hanks?
Da Vinci Code.
Da Vinci Code.
Yeah, the monk that did it to him, he was terrible.
And they flagellated themselves. So they're thinking, well, maybe there's sort of a secret society. We're gonna hit ourselves. A little weird. Okay, so it's 10 after. We have time. I'm taking my lucky mazel to the doctor after class, and we're going to see whether the biopsy is cancerous or not. So wish us good luck. I have been doing a lot of good deeds lately, and I keep saying, I'm doing this for you, lucky mazel. I don't care for me. It's all piling up brownie points for you. That's been in my prayers that this dog is okay. He should live long and prosper. Okay, the story. So I sent you a story from a book that the seven, and also, okay, some of the weird customs. I just wanted to point out a few. So you know about wearing new clothing. We have a different prayer book. We have the machzor, the honey and the apples. Okay, why do we have a round challah?
Life never ends.
All right, well, this is the circle of life, like
Right.
it is
The
a
year.
continuation. Yes, the year has ended and it's going to start. The Jewish New Year, it starts all over again. And when we get to Simchat Torah, we have finished reading the Torah and we start all over again. Every year it's the same book, it never changes. It's the same Torah, right? Okay. I like this one. Some people eat a fish head so that it will act like the head and not the tail in the coming year. All right. Oh, carrots. So some people make a sweet carrots. I do honey, carrots, cinnamon, cloves. And meren is a word for carrots and it means to multiply. So we want our good deeds to multiply. And we do, of course, the tashlech. Shalach is sending, throwing. The white clothing. Okay, so who may fast and who doesn't have to fast on Yom Kippur? So anybody over 13. My grandson turned 13 last year. He had a bar mitzvah. This year, he will be expected to fast. Does a pregnant woman have to fast?
No.
No. And I think it says in the Talmud or something, if she starts to make funny faces, like when I was very stubborn, when I was pregnant, I was fasting. But it says if she starts to make funny faces and look weird, she should take food. It's written someplace. No leather shoes. Okay. If you are elderly, if you are sick and you are taking medication, you're not required to fast. If you need to take that medication with water, you should do so. So my husband has a lot of medication. He's not supposed to fast. Okay. Why would you eat a pomegranate on the first night? How many seeds are there supposed to be in a pomegranate?
613.
Right. And that's supposed to represent what?
The mitzvah.
The mitzvah, the 613. Now, in the 613 mitzvot, some are the do's and some are the do nots. Okay. Apparently, Hillel thought it was easier for people to remember the do nots rather than the do's, because the Hillel, the quote is, do not do unto others as you would not have them do unto you. There's too many things to remember, the good things, right? But just don't do something bad to somebody. You can, that's easy to keep in your mind. Okay, a new fruit. Oh, this is interesting. Someone gave me a dragon fruit in my ESL class. I have a guy from the Czech Republic. And I was asking, we were doing vocabulary for fruits and vegetables and eating out in a restaurant. And I said, what's your favorite fruit? And I think he said dragon fruit. Did anyone ever taste a dragon fruit?
Mhm.
What does it taste like?
A little sweet and sour, kind of.
No, I have one in my refrigerator because he gave it to me because I said, I never tasted dragon. That's what I'm going to eat on the second night.
Oh, you're gonna keep it?
Done. I
for
have it.
more
It's in the
weeks?
refrigerator. I'm all set. Yeah, I have to buy a pomegranate. Okay.
Are you reading off of something you sent us?
Yeah, I'm looking at this.
Okay,
I didn't
I
see
didn't get
that.
those top
we
ones.
didn't get that, no.
That was
Yeah.
the customs? No?
Mm-mm.
No,
No.
Oh.
Mm-mm.
no.
I'm
I
not
got mine, I got one, but it starts with we perform tashla. That's where mine starts. I'm not
Oh.
kidding.
Huh.
Oh,
I didn't get that.
All right, so Kappa wrote the atonement with the chicken in the yard site. Okay. I like the last one. We invite guests into our homes to share our festive meals. For in the words of the great teacher Maimonides, quote, one who celebrates but closes his door to the less fortunate is engaged in joy of the stomach and not joy of a mitzvah. So it's a good time to invite people to share your holiday meal. If there's a senior or somebody who's sick, someone who doesn't have family, invite that person to share the meal with you, just like and this is a running theme, just like on Passover, halach ma'anya, all those who are needy, who don't have matzah, who don't have the meal, we open the door, come and join us. And I think this is and for Shavuot, we talk about a pay of a leket, leaving the corners of the field unharvested and what was dropped from the gleaners. So there's this whole thing in Judaism and Yiddishkeit about having a heart and thinking of those less fortunate. And this is running through a lot of the holidays, right? Runs through that mitzvah of feeding people who are not so fortunate. So I recently, thinking about that, and you're supposed to be doing mitzvot for the holiday, I sent not a huge, but I sent a donation in for the victims of the fires in Maui. And I think that's appropriate for Jewish people to do that for those who, I sent it through the American Red Cross, and I put on the check victims of Maui. I think that that's appropriate at this time of year when we're having our delicious food and we're with our family, and these people I heard that one person said the tires on the car melted, so they had to get out of the car and run for their lives. I mean, can you imagine that? And there's bodies that I'm sure that are charred, died from fire. That's a horrible way to die. And they have to clean up the wreckage. Okay, so this lesson was called, we'll do it quickly, Yom Kippur, Slicha Umechila. Forgiveness and prayer are the theme of Yom Kippur prayers. Yom Kippur prayers may procure pardon only for transgressions against God. And we mentioned once before, the head of the synagogue, the rabbi, or the president of the shul standing in front of the congregation, the kahal, and saying, anything I have done to offend you or make you angry at me, I beg your forgiveness, which takes a big person to do, right? It's hard to do, very hard to ask forgiveness. So this story, the quote is, Averot shebein Adam lachavero. Averot is sins, she that are bain between Adam, a person, man, La, and Chaverot, Chaver, and his friend, Ein, not Yom HaKippurim, Mechaper, are not forgiven by Yom Kippur. So the sins between man and God that you can atone for, at services, but between man and man, you've got to face up to it, literally face to face, and you have to say, I am sorry, I ask forgiveness. That's the hard one, right? If there's somebody that you had a fight with that you don't like, or somebody in the family, or a spouse, or a child, that's the tough one. Face to face is always hard. Okay, so here are the words. Re'ah, a friend. Baal. Baal means like the owner of tzedakah, someone who gives charity. Master of tzedakah, it means. And Baal also means husband in Hebrew. Baali means my master, literally my husband.
Right.
Okay, yeah. Chashav, he thought. Beirach, blessed from Brucha. Dibru, we've seen these shorashim, these roots before. Ashir is rich, and the name Asher is a name, rich. Oni is poor, Seicha is forgiveness, and Mechila, pardon. Okay, so here's the story. We have just time to go through it. All right. I'm going to read it. You're going to read it after me, okay? I want you to be reading out loud. So the name of the story is called Be'erev Yom HaKippurim. What does Erev Yom Kippur mean? Or Erev Shabbat?
The night before.
Evening.
Right, the evening of. The sundown, after sundown. Okay. So it says, Shimon v'Levi Hayu Re'im Tovim. Okay, so everybody. Shimon v'Levi
Shimon v'Levi,
Hayu
Hayu,
Re'im Tovim.
Re'im, Tovim.
Okay, so Simon and Levi were, use the vocabulary, they were good what?
Friends.
They were good friends.
I thought Haver was friend.
Yeah, there's different words. You know,
Okay,
this might be, you know, one used more in the prayers.
Okay.
Shimon Haya Ish Ashir. Everybody.
Shimon Haya Ish Asher.
So what does Ish Ashir mean? What kind of a man was he? Ashir.
Rich.
He was a rich man. Ubaal tzedakah.
Gave to the poor.
Yeah, and he was a giver of tzedakah.
Right.
V'Levi haya talmid chacham v'ish oni. So Levi was, what's a talmid?
Student.
A student. Chacham, he was
Smart.
smart, and v'ish oni, and he was
Poor.
poor. We have a rich guy,
Oh,
poor guy, right? Pa'am Ravu Shimon v'Levi ze im ze. So let's do it. Pa'am Ravu
Ravu,
Shimon v'Levi
Shimon v'Levi,
ze im ze.
Ze im ze.
So pa'am mean once, a time. Ravu, what's Rav? There's, or Reeve. Is that enough the vocabulary? Ravu,
Quarreled.
they quarreled. So one time, Shimon and Levi had a fight, they quarreled. Ze im ze. Ze im ze means with each other.
Oh, okay.
This one with this one. Velo dibru ish el reyehu. Okay, velo.
Below.
I'm sorry. Where am I?
Hebrew, Ish.
Yeah, velo dibru
Below Debrew,
ish
Ish,
el
El,
reyehu.
Ehu
What does daber mean?
said.
Said, you know, in the Torah, Vayedaber Adonai El Moshe, and Vayomer or Vayedaber Adonai El Moshe. It speak. So what happened? They had a fight, and lo, what does lo mean? And lo
Didn't,
didn't. Velo. Okay, Debrew.
didn't speak to each other.
Right. Next
Oh.
paragraph. Ba Erev Yom HaKippurim. Ba.
Erev,
Erev Yom HaKippurim.
So what happened? What came? Ba means came.
Ayom.
Erev Yom HaKippurim. Erev.
Right. The,
The
you know,
evening of Yom Kippur.
oh,
right.
The night before Erev Yom Kippur. Hayom Shebo Kol Yehudi Mevakesh Slicha Umechila Me Chavero. So maybe you have trouble with that one. So this is the night before Yom Kippur, the day Hayom She, in which Kol Yehudi. What does Yehudi mean?
Jews.
Jews.
Every Jew.
All the Jews.
Mevakesh. Look on the bottom, number 2.
Seeks
Seeks, looks for, Mevakesh, Slicha,
forgiveness.
forgiveness, Umechila, and
Pardon.
pardon, May, from Chavero, from his friend, from his fellow man. So that's what Slicha. If you're in Israel and you're in a crowded situation and you bump into someone, you're supposed to say Slicha, but they don't. It's supposed to- Okay. Amar Shimon Billy Bo. He
Amar.
said in his heart, he said like to himself, Amar Shimon Billy Bo. Levi Talmid Chacham. Levi is a smart student. Elech Ani, I will go, El Beito, to his house, Va'avakesh Slicha Mimenu, and I will request pardon from him. Right? This is right before Yom Kippur. The Levi, Chashab, what's Chashab? Levi thought, Gam, who, and he also thought, Shimon Baal Tzedakah. Shimon is a man of Tzedakah. He gives charity. Elech Ani, I will go, El Beito, to his house, Va'avakesh Sicha Mimenu, and I will ask pardon from him, Mimenu. Baboker, what's boker?
Morning.
It says in the morning, Kamu arose, Shnei Hareim, the 2 friends got up, Vechol Echad, and each one, Halach, walked, El, to Beit, the house of Chavero, of his friend. Baderech Pakshu, Ze et Ze. What happened on the in the way there?
They met.
They met. Berchu ish et re'ehu. They blessed each other with peace, b'shalom. V'chol echad, and each one, bikesh, asked for slicha, u'mechila, pardon and forgiveness, me chavero, of his friend. Now, what I might suggest is that you read it again. Now you know what the story is. Use the words from the bottom of the page, the footnotes, and use the vocabulary, and you'll be able to translate it. Okay. Now there's a lot of prefixes here and a lot of suffixes. The vav on the end means his, and may, the mem, means from. I sent you last week a whole bunch of prefixes because Diane Gensler had wanted it. So I think next week we'll go through one of the really heavy ones. And for the sin of this and for the sin of that. Okay. So, 2:30. I know, here, no, it's raining here. I'm gonna get the dog saddled up and take him to the dock.
Good
So-
luck. I'll be
Good
thinking.
luck.
I
Yeah.
hope that, anyway, this place is so, such a fancy animal hospital. They have chemo, and radiation for pets.
Oh,
So I'm wondering, would he lose all his hair? When I had breast cancer, like more than 10 years ago, was in 2000, 23 years ago, I lost my hair and I had to wear a wig. So I figured I'm wearing a wig, I might as well get something stylish. So I got a very cute, very short hair. And the funny thing was that the ones who complimented me the most on my new hairstyle were the husbands of all of my friends.
Oh, interesting.
And then the women, and it was with little fringy bangs, it was very cute. So I'm wondering, will my dog look bald if I get him?
I don't know. I never heard one way or the other.
This is I'm sure that they'll take me to the cleaners, this place, but we'll see what happens. All right, ladies, Shabbat
Okay.
Shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
I'm hoping for the best.
Thank you.
Carol,
See
how
you
many
next
more
week.
classes do we have?
Well, until before the holidays, we'll go to maybe like maybe the week after Labor Day. Now, you can register online. I think they're gonna send you a link for a class. You guys can go into intermediate because this is advanced beginner. Some classes stay with the same teacher if they all want to. You do what's best for you. If you feel you're ready to go into intermediate, which I think a lot of you are, then do it. There's some very good teachers in intermediate. And then I get a new crew. If you want to stay together as a group and all go into intermediate, request the same time or a similar time. There are times on Friday with the same teacher. I mean, do what suits you personally best. You know your skills, you know where you are. As far as I'm concerned, it was great working with you. It was more manageable with a smaller group than with I had once with 15 students. There were little tiny windows in it. And it was harder to control, but it's been really fun. It's been really great.
Well, thank you.
Thank you.
It's been
Thanks,
really
Carol.
fun. So
I didn't mean to say this was the end, guys. I'm just trying to figure out if we're like this the Friday before Sleek Coat. Will that be the last one?
I have to take a look at the calendar. So maybe one or two more, and then you'll be ready for facing the high holidays. Yeah, we'll go over anything you want to go repeat, but you'll have at least a basic idea, and you already know a lot of those prayers. But read them, really read the Hebrew. You don't have to go as fast as a cantor. You can read them silently, and you can feel good that you can read it. Okay, Cha means you on the end, and you have a lot of tools now, with Hebrew. So we're gonna see what Denise is gonna lead.
Big mouth. I'll let you. I'm in the choir, and it's our Hazan that sets all that up. So I have practice this coming week, so I'm sure he'll tell me.
That you're gonna lead one of the prayers.
I guess. Give it to me early so I can just keep reading it over and over again.
Yeah, you can do it. You can do it. You can read Hebrew, and you'll just or ask him to make a voice file that send it to you, like my cantor did when I did the beginning service.
Yeah, he would do that. He does it for our music, so he would do it for that too.
So do it for that, and then you'll have it, and then just listen to it like I did for hours on end. I listened to the cantor, and I did that. It was like 40 minutes of the service, the very beginning from Matovo, and then putting on the talit and all. It was a lot. I can just say it was a lot. Tomorrow, I think my Torah reading will go well because I've been studying it ad nauseum. So I think we're good. All right. Well, I'll see you next
Right.
week.
Thank you.
you.
Shabbat shalom.
Enjoy.
Shabbat shalom, everybody.